here at New Belgium Brewery in Fort Collins, Colorado. Started here in 1991, and we create craft beers like Fat Tire and Abbey Ale. Our co-founders were very passionate about the environment, and environmental stewardship was one of our founding core values and beliefs. So was having fun and creating world-class beers. We've always had a spirit and a spice for innovation. What can we do to save energy, save water, and also be a better employer? You can see here in our beautiful brew house that we have 3 stories of natural light. This helps us to save money on our electricity bills. It helps to save emissions, and it creates a more enjoyable work environment for our coworkers. So we think this is a really great triple bottom line win. Barley is grown in the arid west. We bring it in here, we mash it in the wet mill, and that breaks down the fibers and creates more surface area so that it's easier to extract the starches and sugars. We bring it to high heat here in the mash tun, and what's happening here is we're extracting those properties from the solid and bringing them into the liquid. Once we're finished with this process, we go into the lauter tun. So we now have a liquid called wort, and that's beer tea essentially. It's unfermented beer. And at this point we're finished with the solid. Right now we sell it to a farmer, and he feeds it to his cattle in place of virgin grain. This vessel is just a buffer. This part of the process is a little bit quicker than that part of the process. So instead of shutting down and starting up equipment, which can be very inefficient, we're able to buffer it and hold it in this tank. The last step of the brewing process here is our brew kettle. And in our brew kettle, we're boiling the wort because we're boiling off some of the flavors that we would not like in our beers. And so it's necessary, but it does take a lot of energy. Our brew kettle is a lot different than most brew kettles because it has a cone-shaped boiler plate inside, and we're able to boil it in about half the time. This is a heat exchanger, and it is capturing the steam from our brew kettle. So we're saving a lot of energy because we're able to use our waste heat from the steam to preheat the incoming water, and thereby reduces the energy needed to start the next batch. Here we are at the fermentation vessels. This might not be the most exciting visual, but inside there's a party happening. We add the yeast to the wort, and the yeast is in there eating up all the sugars, and it's producing alcohol and CO2, and after which we have beer. From fermentation, the liquid comes in this pipe bridge, and it goes into the bottling line where we package it up and send it out to you. When the bottles come through, they are rinsed, and we capture that internal rinse water and we save it for the external rinse. So after the bottle is filled and capped, it has a little beer on the outside, we need to rinse that off, and so we're able to actually reuse that water and save millions of gallons a year. At New Belgium, we treat all of our own processed wastewater here on site. Anytime we're finished brewing in a kettle or fermenting in a tank, we're cleaning that out, and all of that water comes down, and we brew it here in our anaerobic digester first. The anaerobic digester has a lot of microbes that are eating all of the contaminants, and they produce a methane-rich biogas. Once the methane is collected here, we send it to 2 different cogenerators. About our sustainability efforts or not, we're hoping at the end of the day we've created one delicious beer that has had a minimal impact on the environment and brought a few smiles to people's faces. Cheers.